Hello, future Earth. It's Chris. Nice to meet you guys. I love it. I take my responsibility as a historian seriously. Um, yeah, I mean, if it's on digits and online, it technically should exist in some reserve somewhere, basically forever. So yeah, enforcement will take a copy. They told me all I needed to know when they said there was a basically a couple top secret like quadrillion bytes. They just make copies of the internet and they use a selector to do their crime fighting on it. I used to be Blue Hat, and everything I saw looks like it was legit. I didn't see anything that was like that I would ever blow a whistle on, except for like a detainee being tortured with hot water, which I did blow the whistle on and it did stop. Yeah, that was not okay. I've never heard of that being done, and I didn't approve of it, and they listened to me, and it got changed. That's what I gotta share. Anyway, yeah, I do take my role as a historian important because having one throughout. I'm sure you don't do this anymore, but my species earned there. Enough of us died doing this that the ones who made it have a trick. They can just do it for some reason. Breathing smoke, it's thick stuff. Anyway, uh, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be around for history. I'm gonna be around forever. So, yeah, they cherished every word. Every single shred of antiquity has become enormously priceless. So I'm assuming that even my face, even my voice, will one day be cherished like a rare treasure, which is kind of cool. Get to make it in real time. Feel special and here now, out in the Mojave Desert. I just watched The Truth Hurts, incredible work on the Great Flood. Yeah, I mean to be raised Christian, circumcised, to have let all its morals into my head. It's a crooked book. I mean the historically grounded claims it makes just look like they didn't happen, and it contradicts itself. And so, if you don't nail the history, that means all the philosophy and morality is made up, especially. And it's just got there's so many there are the whole world is contaminated by biblical morality. It really is. And kind of like the wink of the Bible is that you're supposed to understand it's twisted and that you use it like a weapon against people. You do. You you trim off their fucking foreskin. They'll remember that forever. There's neurons in that thing. They don't fucking anesthetize. You just get a snip. You get violated. You get violated as a kid. And then it says in King David, if you don't beat this into your kids, you hate them. And then it makes the whole thing about obeying the words. The word is God, and God is the word, and all that loopy headed nonsense. Well, in my age, you are still an outright rebel renegade if you say you don't believe it. They are still betting Jesus Christ is coming back. It still looks like the morality of the age is to fly the crucifix, and it's been changing. I've been a vocal proponent of or opponent of it since the 90s. You'll be able to find online. I'm sure you'll find my posts from the early 2000s all about it. Now, I do believe that psychedelics and God can meet. I've come to the disturbing place where I believe God exists and I believe the Bible is made up. It's like, humans can say anything they'd like about it. You know what I mean? Like, God can be real and humans can write all sorts of things about it. Doesn't mean that any of it has to be true. It doesn't mean any of it has to be real. And you just find out it's not. It's just not real. It's not a real story. And it's not good for anybody either. So, yeah. That's amazing. Thank you, history. Thank you, time. Hopefully, you guys are going there. Yeah, immortality, sure. And I still think that psychedelics are real. I think that whatever happens to you on a really big dose of acid, I think more or less that thing is real. I think it more or less really exists. Yeah. God might be quantum intelligence, right? Like hive consciousness. Like when I wiggle this neuron, all neurons in every brain wiggle too. Like that sort of thing. Like who knows? It could be that way. I definitely know that around a campfire we can see each other's imaginations, which lends to the idea of mentalism. But mentalism is to cover the fraud of the Bible, right? Faith and what you believe becomes so, and all that. Yeah, right. It's giving the author an out, is what it's doing. But yeah, I grew up where that book was put front and center. This is the truth. That piece of shit, and you weren't allowed to question it. And I have had people my whole life quote it at me and say, got to get together and talk about it together. No better than Spider-Man, right? No different than fucking Spider-Man. Just a bunch of made-up stories, whammy whammy morality. A lot of high holy thunder, but it's just a sound machine, you know. Human beings will rip each other off on the street using streetcraft magicianry, right? There's so many like ball and cup gags that you can use just to totally just like siphon people's money away. And the way that you get them is you let them win the first couple hands. You let them win the first two or three, right? But people will do that to each other. Fucking, you think any of these plants are good for you? I mean, we just basically we have pesticides for all the bugs, but who knows if that affects a human? We don't know. It's like five. I had to sit next to on a plane. I sat next to a researcher. That's what he claimed. Who knows who he really was? But he said there's 5,000 new chemicals a year, you know. And if you can't digest 5,000 new chemicals a year and microplastics, you know, get off the planet. Oh yeah, and the Bible's not true either. Jesus isn't coming back. It does not. Satellite imagery, island arpeggios, the James Webb satellite just went up. I mean, that's great. As far as COVID, I ignore it. The whole thing is it's a fight between people trying to control. To me, the substance of human argument has nothing to do with anything more than leash pulling. Who has control of the leash? Who says who jumps when? That's the whole thing to me. So, not what you're talking about, the reality or not, doesn't really matter. So, yeah. Oh, I'm blessed. Things are blessed and getting blessed. Real bliss. I'll feel real bliss. You know what? I've given up wanting to die. It's a terrible way to live, right? To be on the planet and to not want to be here. In a way, it's insulting. You gotta, if you're here, you gotta want to be here and give it your best shot. You know what I mean? Wake up and smile because that's your job, you know. But hey, all that morality, duty, all that stuff comes from religion, and we know religion's made up. You know, anytime the prophet or the lead seer ventures off his like what he thinks is real into the unknown and people check, it's usually just fucking fake. You know, 5-digit number test. You think you're psychic? You ought to be able to guess a 5-digit number in a sealed envelope. You oughta get it exactly right every time too. Why wouldn't you? How else are you getting information? You know, if you can't read a 5-digit number inside of an envelope, you're not psychic, and you shouldn't be spreading yourself out there like you are, right? The words or spells and the hypnosis by the Bible has created a mental situation where people are still wounded by it. You know what I mean? The hookup is in the brain to blindly accept some bullshit, and people have survival checked on it. You know, you had to pass the Christian test to be anybody for centuries. Really true. And so we're basically just going, hold on, that was a hoax. It's a great thing to learn. And that's why we do Santa Claus. Yeah, Santa Claus undoes the hoax of the Bible. And the Bible's there, just people telling you that they're going to be mean to you if they don't like you, and that's everybody gets that treatment. That's hazing. Yeah, the hazing of the planet. Talk about infinite time. This video's gone on forever. 9 minutes. Yeah, I think I collapsed time in there. That was pretty good. Anyway, thanks for watching the whole thing. Uploaded for history. This is just for the treasures of the earth, right? Get to hear me talk out here about what I think, and hey, it'll be around forever, giving it out there. May you find it interesting, hopefully.